My first job in radio was in Ellensburg. And we did about 6 months there. It was about 6 years, it seemed like. And then we went to Yakima. I did disc jockey and sports there. And then I came over with the first KTNT radio when it came on the air, 1400. And then I worked on television side in odd hours. And I just finished basketball season and was getting ready for baseball. And they'd hired a fellow to do a children's show. The first show was one called Dandy Time. And it was a sort of a takeoff on Ding Dong School. And it was geared toward really kindergarten, romper room era age. And they wanted to have a little older skewing show, so they came up with an idea of a show called Engineer Walt. There had been a show at that time in Los Angeles, the Engineer Bill show. So they hired a fellow to do the program, Dave Richardson. Dave was a transmitter engineer up at KVOS in Bellingham. And Dave came down with polio, I think on a Thursday evening. They diagnosed that the show was supposed to start on Monday. And as in broadcasting at the time, they sort of frantically, get anybody to do the show. And so I was in between assignments on the sports side, so I stepped in and did this show for about 6 months. Dave came back and had full braces on his legs, and he physically, couldn't do it. So they asked me if I would come back and finish, doing the show as Brakeman Bill, and I said, yeah, I liked the hours. The idea of the train set was a lot of fun, and we had literally turned loose to do whatever we wanted to do. There was never a script. And people find that hard to believe now. There was never a script. We did a lot like an old burlesque or vaudeville routine. We'd start on a premise, and Warren was so talented. I was the straight man, and he would carry all of the funny business. We didn't talk down to kids. I think that I was certainly not a Mr. Rogers. I think Mr. Rogers is a wimp. I would guess more like a Soupy Sales. We had a lot of fun. Our humor was one that the children, say from 5, 7 up, could understand what we were doing. But we had fan clubs in the fraternities. I had one of the biggest fan clubs we had were in the Weyerhaeuser logging camps. And I guess we had a pretty broad audience we reached.
And welcome to the last show of the Brakeman Bill Show.
Huh?
Yeah, we're all done.
Really?
It's all over.
Bah, bah, bah,
That's
bah,
all right. You can still hang around with me. That's okay.
I can?
Yeah, they just won't see us anymore for. Yeah.
I was worried for a minute.
Yes. Anyway, we got.
I was so worried my ear flopped over.
Yeah. There we go. We got lots of cake, and we got some very special guests, some very lovely ladies there. The Daffodil Princesses are here.
Oh.
And our big treasure hunt with our bicycle, and I'm pretty sure somebody's going to win it today.
Really?
Should be a big show, so miss a single moment of it. Right now, for our last time, as Brakeman Bill saying, here are the Flintstones.
Let's eat it.
Not yet.
Crazy Donkey was built by one of our secretaries up on the 2nd floor, and we thought we'd have some fun, and she had a puppet that she used to make for her children. It was a black sock with a couple of eyes on it, and she put some teeth on it. We thought it was pretty funny, and Warren Reed was our announcer there, and he had such a delightful sense of humor that we tapped him, hey, you're going to be the puppet. And so he was a puppeteer. We made the donkey, we started out with too small, so we made it larger, and as the years have been by, it got to be quite large. Wore out quite a few of the puppets, but that was an original. We educated on our show, but we did it in very subtle ways. We did comedy, but there was always a message. The donkey, for instance, he was the example of what not to do as a child. He wasn't a vandal or did destructive things, but he was always in trouble. He didn't like to study. He was always goofing off. He was always getting into trouble. So don't be. This is what you don't want to be, kids. I'd felt that, you know, it was a long run, 20 years. At one time, I had the record. J.P. Patches, he finally beat me. But in the United States, I had the record for a long time, the 20-year run. We were there to entertain and be someone that they could relate to, and hopefully they had some fun like we had. It was nice, I think. I was very fortunate because I got to meet so many wonderful people, famous people, but I got to meet a lot of really nice kids. And the best part I had was that I could, and this was tough, it was good, but tough. I could go into the hospitals, and that was nice. The hardest part I had was when I had to visit the terminally ill. That was tough. I tended, I think, to bring it home with me sometimes. The work, I know I was very involved with muscular dystrophy through my children's show, the Carnivals Against Dystrophy. I got to meet our local poster children and the national poster children because I was on the national board. And Jerry Lewis always told me, he had to get us together, the master of ceremonies, the host, and say, don't get too close, because they're going to be gone. And you'll see them, and your heart will break for them. And you've got to hold back a little, because they're not going to be there forever. And a couple of times I did, and it was tough. Yet I count my blessings, you know, I had such wonderful opportunities. It was a good life, and it's still a good life.
You'll see this from time to time. We're going to do the Carnivals Against Dystrophy program again for you boys and girls like to hold backyard carnivals to raise money to fight muscular dystrophy. And we'll be on the Jerry Lewis Telethon on Labor Day weekend again, and you'll probably see us from time to time. We've got a lot of swell shows planned for you on Channel 11. I know you are going to enjoy it.
Don't move, Brakeman. Here I come.
What happened?
Don't move.
What happened?
Don't move.
Yeah! What was that for?
No, I'm sentimental.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of a sad occasion. For last time, Brakeman Bill saying bye-bye.